G'day guys, just Rob again, doing another video for you. Now I may have mentioned in my last video, I was actually going to be rewatching the movie Black Swan. I think because I didn't really like it much the first time that I sort of watched it, and I wanted to perhaps sort of just give it another watch, see if my views had changed on it. But also wanted to perhaps I might talk about some other films as well, just while I'm doing this. So this might just be part one. So I might talk about Black Swan and then just another film. And then I might perhaps do a sort of a part two, and perhaps I'll talk about some other films that have a very sort of similar sort of premise to it. Yeah, so we'll get into it. Yeah, so Black Swan. Also, I'll give it another watch. And I have to say, I still still have a few problems with this movie. I didn't really enjoy it that much. I think I enjoy a lot probably the opening to it and the end to it. Just the middle, perhaps I didn't really like all that much. So basically, I'll get into perhaps what I didn't really like about it. I mean, the first thing I didn't like about it, I just didn't really like the way it was sort of shot. I mean, first of all, you got the very sort of grainy sort of picture, which I guess is some sort of effect they wanted to add in to the film. And also you had like the horrible sort of handheld shaky cam used sort of throughout the film, which I couldn't quite understand. I mean, for a film about sort of being a ballerina, about art and about sort of, I don't know, in some especially to do with being a dancer, creating sort of perfection and having sort of solid, fluid, smooth movements. I just didn't quite understand why they wanted to use shaky, bumpy cam and sort of grainy sort of picture. That was the first thing that sort of turned me off. Also, I just didn't like sort of the film, just the way it was sort of what happened during the film. I mean, the film itself obviously stars Natalie Portman, also stars Mila Kunis and Vincent Cassel. I think they're the main three characters. Also, Winona Ryder, she plays a very small part as well. So I mean, the film's about obviously Natalie Portman, and she's obviously a dancer and wants to be the best. She's sort of been training all her life to be a dancer, and she wants to sort of be the the lead, the lead girl and be the play the leading role, which is obviously Swan Lake. And she's sort of got to play sort of two parts in the film. She's got to play the white swan, and she's also got to play the black swan. Now her personality, her character is very much a white swan character, very sort of white and sort of, I don't know, innocent and sort of maybe the virgin character, I suppose. Whereas the black swan's obviously the other extreme, I guess, the sort of the black and bad character, or the sort of type thing. Obviously she's got the white swan down pat. She can do that in her sleep. She's obviously very talented and worked hard to do it. But then she just can't do the black swan because that's just not in her personality. And you also obviously got and then you've got Mila Kunis, which I guess in some ways I think she's supposed to represent the black swan, and I guess she's sort of there maybe to try and help Natalie Portman become this black swan, I guess. You also got Vincent Cassel, and he sort of plays like he's just kind of like the leading dance director. He's sort of I guess the boss. That's probably not the right word, but he's sort of in charge of everything, and he's the one that sort of he's in charge basically. So he's the one that she's got to impress, to get the lead role type thing. Well, of course she obviously gets the part, but she's got to work on being the black swan, which I guess is what the film essentially about, and what the characters around her, revolving around her. That's what that's what they're there for, I suppose, to help her do this transformation. Which sort of gets into what I didn't like about the film. It was just sort of all full of all these sort of the idea that Natalie Portman was sort of going crazy. Like she was sort of seeing all these weird things and hearing all this strange music and strange things happening, and the characters are sort of around her are sort of acting all weird, and Vincent Castle's being a total slob, I suppose, and touching her up and kissing her, and I guess he's, I don't know, in some ways trying to get her to transform into the Black Swan, and he sort of, like he tells her to go home, tells her to go home and play with herself, and ask her all this, has she had sex before, and all this sort of stuff, and then which I didn't really like his character much. I thought he was a bit too over the top. We also, as I said before, we got Mila Kunis, and I think she's supposed to represent the Black Swan, and but she's not in it that much. It's the same with the Natalie Portman's mother character as well. They're both actresses aren't in the film long enough. I think they're just there to add a bit of mystery to the film, and what's their sort of backstory, and why are they there, and some people even suggest that maybe Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis' characters are both the same person, type thing. Does Mila Kunis really exist, type thing? But I'm not too sure about that. So I just didn't really like this film. I didn't really sort of enjoy watching this film. Sort of both times that I sort of watched it, I don't know. I just didn't really care for the sort of the suspenseful music, and sort of the not really not quite sure what's happening. Is she going crazy, or is she really turning into the Black Swan? I don't know. To me, it just sort of seems a bit too, I don't know, a bit too over the top, and a bit too, I don't know. To me, just a lot of things that sort of happened were just there just to confuse the audience a bit, so we weren't really quite sure what was sort of happening, type thing. I mean, it's definitely a well shot film, and has great acting, and great sort of dance sequences to it. I mean, it's not, some people say it's a rubbish film. There are people that sort of don't like the film as well, and they reckon it's just, some people just say it's rubbish, and so I'm not saying it's necessarily a rubbish film. But I don't know. I just didn't like what sort of happened in it. It was just the sort of the psycho thriller atmosphere to it, if I can sort of put it like that. So that's sort of the Black Swan. Okay, so the next film I got here is actually one called The Red Shoes, which came out 1948. I think the producers were Michael Powell and Ermic Pressburger, which I think they were actually sort of really famous sort of producers at the time, and made a lot of other really good films. This is another film that some people have sort of said that's actually like this is the film that Black Swan sort of ripped off, kind of thing. Because it has a lot of sort of similarities to it. A lot of things happen sort of both the same in sort of in both the movies. This is another sort of film. Basically, all these films I'm going to be talking about is sort of part one and part two. I thought all about sort of the struggling artist, I guess, and sort of giving up a lot of yourself, I guess, to follow your your love of dancing, or whatever it's going to be, of your art, I suppose would probably be a better word. Yeah, this is very much a sort of similar sort of film, and it follows a lot of similar sort of premise to it. Now, it's actually a film that I've heard is actually sort of a favourite film of Steven Spielberg and Francis Ford Coppola, and also Mark Scorsese. I think he actually sort of helped pay to help with the restoration of the film, which I think was back in 2009 to 2010. So they're all big sort of fans of this particular film. Now, this is similar sort of premise to it. You've got Maura Ferrer. She was actually as famous. She was actually a real sort of famous dancer, and there's a lot of real dancers in this actual movie. I think that it took her about a year or so to convince her to sort of star in the movie, because she really wasn't really interested. She was just more interested in dancing. But she was very sort of talented, and sort of very much an up and coming star. And I think in some way she was sort of a bit worried about that this film might wreck her career, type thing. But again, you've sort of got she's sort of in this film. She's like a sort of you know, a ballerina sort of works, you know, hard all life, and she wants to, you know, have the lead. She wants to be the lead in the company, you know, type thing. And you've also got, say, well, in the Black Swan, you've got the Vincent Castle character sort of playing the overbearing sort of dance director. Also got a similar sort of character in this movie as well. You know, sort of he's the one in charge of the dancers, and you know, obviously wants sort of the best for the dancers, and doesn't believe in anything else. He believes just in the dancing. You know, he's very, you know, looks down on the girls having, you know, boyfriends and getting married, and because that's obviously going to take away their concentration on being a dancer, which is what happens. I mean, you've got the well, in both films, you've got at the beginning of the film, you've got the sort of the star that's sort of being, you know, let go, I suppose I should say. Like in this film, the one she's getting married, and she sort of leaves the company because she's getting married, sort of thing. And of course, in Black Swan, you've got Winona Ryder character. Well, we're not really quite sure why she's leaving exactly, but we're pretty sure that it's got something to do with the dance director. He's sort of pushed him out, type thing. So in this film, obviously there's another character, like a male character, and he's an upcoming composer, and he sort of gets work in the company, producing sort of music for the Red Shoes production, and also for other things that they sort of do in the company. And of course the Mario Scherer character, however you pronounce the name, and him obviously fall in love, and which of course, you know, upsets the, you know, the dance director. He doesn't want to have anything to do with that. So that's sort of essentially the film. I mean, you've got, she's sort of either got to choose to either be a dancer, or, you know, or have a boyfriend, you know, type thing. But yeah, there's lots of sort of similar sort of things happening in both movies. I mean, you've got like the sort of the scene where the dance director sort of picking the girls for reproduction. He sort of goes up to some of them and sort of taps them on the shoulder, and we sort of think that they're the ones that have been chosen, but it's not. But they're not the ones that actually have been chosen. It's actually the ones that haven't been tapped on the shoulder that actually are in the production. That's happened sort of in both movies. And as before, you've got the overbearing dance director, and you've got as I said before, the, you know, beginning of the film, you've got sort of the star that's sort of having to leave because she's sort of being forced out, type thing. And now this film is a lot more. I mean, it's no. I actually enjoy this one a lot. You know, a lot more. Obviously, it doesn't have sort of the, you know, the psycho thriller sort of element to it that sort of in the Black Swan, and we can sort of understand sort of what's happening in this film. And there's also a great sort of cinematic scene, which I think goes for about 15 minutes or so, which is actually sort of very sort of cutting edge at the time. Lots of sort of, you know, camera techniques, you know, speeding up the camera and slowing down, and sort of cutting the camera, then, you know, restarting it again, type thing. Which is actually a great scene, actually very cinematic, and very, yeah, great to watch. If I can, I might find a link for that, and perhaps leave a link below. Even if you just want to watch that, don't necessarily need to watch the whole film, I suppose, if you don't want to. But definitely, I regularly recommend sort of watching that particular scene, though. But yeah, I think it's just a great sort of film. Very sort of cinematic, great acting, great sort of dancing, and great sort of story. As I said before, you know, obviously, you know, sort of how far do you want to go for your art, type thing, which sort of happens in sort of both movies, isn't it? I mean, you've got, you know, it sort of drives you crazy, I suppose. You know, trying to be a dancer, or, you know, how much do you want to sacrifice for your art, you know, type thing. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. I think that's sort of the two films I just sort of wanted to talk about today: The Red Shoes and Black Swan. So this is just sort of a part one. I've actually got some other films that I sort of want to talk about that have got very sort of similar sort of premise about sort of the struggling artist. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'm sure I'll be back very soon just with another video for you. And that's it. Yeah. So goodbye.